It's just a couple fiction and a couple biography. So we'll start with the literature fiction. So I finally found a copy of this. I've been looking for a while. Hermann Hesse. Now, there's two titles here. I guess apparently the more well-known English title, which is not well-known to me, is Magister Ludi. But the book I was looking for is The Glass Bead Game. Now that's what I heard of, that title. But apparently this bigger title is the more well-known one. But anyways, this is supposed to be a really neat book. It's in the future, the 25th century or something like that. And there's this place where these intellectuals are kind of are kept, and they run this school for these kids, and they also play this game. And I guess being in this little nation or territory is meant to teach people to play this game. So that's kind of the point of it. And it's supposed to have some good philosophy in here, some interesting commentary and stuff. So that should be interesting whenever I get to it. The Glass Bead Game. The other one in fiction I found is I have been reading Dune right now. I'm only a couple chapters in, maybe 4 or 5 chapters. If you know about Dune, it's science fiction. Where I'm at right now is they just landed on the new planet, and they're kind of setting up, and there was that one assassination attempt on the one kid, and that's about as far as I got. But this book, and there's lots of these Dune, there's a Dune series, so I'm just on the first book. But this book is an encyclopedia of all these people and places and history and all this stuff. So you look something up, you can find it in here. Now the thing is, I imagine this is maybe for fans, because I don't think it would be a good idea for me to, when I see some strange word or place or topic in the book, that I should go look up in here, because it probably will spoil everything, right? It'll give everything away. So I probably would have to use this later. But anyways, I thought this would be pretty neat to have, and actually it was free. So that's probably another reason why I have it. Okay, so that might help me later with Dune. I don't know if I'll keep reading it. Like I've been wanting to read kind of the first books of a lot of series, like I've read. So I'm working on Dune. I've read a fantasy, first book of, called, the series is called Sword of Truth, and the first one was Wizard's First Rule. That's by Goodkind. So I read the first book of that. I've been meaning to read, and that was a pretty long one. That's probably 800 pages or so. I've been meaning to read Wheel of Time's first book, which by Jordan, which I haven't done yet. And I'm sure there's lots of other ones that I can't think of right now. But I'm trying to get a taste of some of these things before I would devote time reading a lot of them. The only other one that, like another one might be Arthur C. Clarke's Space Odyssey 2001. I have a review of that on my other channel, but I actually didn't, that one was kind of mixed for me. There was some good parts of it. I remember the first part was very good about kind of primitive man, but I found the other stuff to be kind of ridiculous, and I've even heard people say that he was on an acid trip when he wrote like the last couple chapters, and I would, it's probably true. And it was kind of wild and crazy, and I didn't think it was that great. So I probably won't keep reading those, because there's like, book 2 is like 2000 Space Odyssey 2010, and then book 3 is Space Odyssey 2030, I think, and there might be more of them. But I'm probably not going to keep going in that. But I've been trying to get like a taste of some of these long series just to see what they're like. Okay, so that's just a couple of literature I've got. Now on a biography. So I got this one just last week. Churchill by Paul Johnson. So I've got a lot of Paul Johnson's books, and this is one of his last books. It is a very short book on Churchill, and apparently this was written really actually for teenagers or high school kids, trying to get them interested in the life of great leaders. And I think that might be kind of going away. I don't think people are as interested in heroes, except maybe irrelevant superheroes. They're not interested in real people and what they've done. I don't see the young people as interested in that, which may be a cultural shift. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's going to be a problem in the future. So this book was written, I guess, for high school kids, and it's a very quick tour of Churchill and some of his highlights. And so that will be nice to have. I think I only have one other book on Churchill as a kind of biography. But certainly Churchill wrote a long 4 volumes history of Britain, and he's got, I think, a 6-volume history of World War II. The next one is by Cicero, The Life and Times of Rome's Greatest Politician by Anthony Everitt. So this will be nice to, when I'm going through Rome, to kind of get some more details on Cicero, who was pretty important. There's some other stuff he's written on political philosophy, which is pretty good. I can't think of the title now, though, but it was a little tiny book on political philosophy that he wrote. So anyways, that should be pretty good. And this giant chunk on Hitler, this is by John Toland. And this is huge. And it's got some pictures in it, which is nice. But whenever I get to World War II, I've been trying to go in chronological order because I just think it would make more sense then. But this is a pretty big, it says it was on the New York Times list for 6 months. But this is a pretty big, and I'm sure detailed, biography of Hitler. Now, I do have a few of Hitler already. I've actually been looking for his, what was Hitler's book? Mein Kampf. I've been looking for it. I'm just curious. This was a kind of a crazy thing that he did, and pretty tyrannical. And same as Stalin, right? Some people even put them in the same category because Stalin, and people forget that Stalin massacred a lot of his own people, millions of people, and starvations. And Stalin, many people say that Stalin was just as brutal as, if not more so, than Hitler. So, whereas Hitler was more intended and direct in his violence, Stalin was more neglectful. But certainly, everyone he sent to the Gulag was a kind of a murder, almost. So, anyways, this should be something that I flip through and get some more information about to try to understand where these people come from. So, those are new books for literature and biography for spring 2016.